The headlines: voting underway across most polling units in Rivers State. Ondo flood submerges homes and cars in deluge. Kaduna tricycle operators decry high levies and rogue regulator harassment. And away from Nigeria, Tunisians protest against President Said before October 6th election. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us on the details. Now, voting has commenced in most polling centers for the local government elections happening in Rivers State as sensitive materials have been distributed. Accreditation and voting began at Ikoku area, specifically Units 14 and 15, Port Harcourt City at around 8 a.m. Caretaker Committee Chairman of Port Harcourt Local Government Area and Chairmanship candidate of the APP commended the RCEC after casting his vote at Ward 18, Units 14 and 15. Meanwhile, political analysts have been discussing the conduct of the Rivers local government election in the face of legal tussle that has greeted the conduct of the poll.
This is one of the fairest and peaceful, seamless elections ever to be held in Rivers State. You can see the atmosphere is fully charged. Our people are out here to vote. Elections are truly going on in Rivers State, and I want to thank RCEC for the timely delivery and arrival of voting materials. This is unprecedented. We've never had it like this before. Unlike other times where most times voting material arrives by 12 and at the end of the day voters are already tired. Now we've been accredited, I have voted. You can see other persons are voting. The local government reports I'm getting from other parts of the local government, Port Harcourt City local government, is also good and favorable that our people are out there voting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
However, from Rivers State, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has conferred the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger GCON title on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. Tinubu had, in his 64th Independence Anniversary broadcast, conferred the Commander of the Federal Republic CFR title on the Speaker and the Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin. That move did not go well with the House of Representatives, which demanded a higher honor for Abbas, just like Tinubu conferred the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger GCON on Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the CJN, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun. The lawmakers said that both chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives are equal, and the Green Chamber should not even be referred to as a lower chamber. But days after his earlier pronouncement, Tinubu conferred the GCON honor on the House of Representatives Speaker. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said in a statement on Friday evening that Tinubu was persuaded by the House of Representatives' position and has decided to remedy the historical error and oversight. In a wake of the House of Representatives' demand, the presidency said the Green Chamber has a harmonious working relationship with the Senate as against claims in several quarters. Now, scores of residents have been sacked from their various homes with houses and vehicles submerged following the flash flood that hit Ondo town in Ondo state capital. Many canals and bridges overflowed, causing several electric poles to fall, raising fears of possible electrocution among displaced residents. The rain started around 3 p.m. on Saturday, while many residents and motorists were moving around with their normal activities. However, no life was lost, but residents who returned met their homes submerged. The heavy pour caused traffic jams as most of motorists were trapped on the road, struggling to clear the way and move ahead. The flood in Ondo is coming barely a few weeks after the National Emergency Management Agency, the NEMA, advised communities at risk of flooding, especially those residing along waterways, to relocate to safer, higher ground in anticipation of the peak of the rainy season. The Kogi state government says no fewer than 70 communities have been submerged in some parts of the state following heavy downpours. The state security deputy governor, Joel Salifu, disclosed this on Thursday shortly after an inspection tour of Edaha community in Kogi local government area of the state. Salifu, who doubles as the state chairman 2024 Kogi State Flood Disaster Response Committee, said the present situation is beyond the capacity of the state government to handle alone. He added that in spite of the state government's proactive measures towards this year's flood, the present situation in Edeha and other communities along the route have gone beyond what the state alone can handle. While he stressed that the number of damaged properties, including farmlands, are yet to be ascertained, the deputy governor expressed joy that so far no life was lost in the affected communities. He added that most of the inhabitants of the affected communities have relocated to the internally displaced persons camps set up by the state government. Now in Kaduna, the tricycle riders are decrying what they described as irregular activities of tax collectors who allegedly harass them on the road. According to the riders, these activities not only disrupt their operations, but also endanger the lives of passengers that they transport. In this report, Trust TV's Bello Musa examines the activities of the tricycle riders, popularly known as Kekena Pep, as well as the alleged extortion and harassment by some levy and tax collectors in Kaduna metropolis. The report.
The operators of commercial tricycle riders, like any other Nigerian, pay their taxes and levies. However, the activities of suspicious fraudulent tax collectors often disrupt the operations of the tricycle owners. It is mandatory for me to pay tax. However, there are fraudulent tax agents we encounter all the time on the road. Even if we buy government ticket, they will still force us to pay extra. These suspicious elements, as allegedly by the tricycle riders, collect levies and taxes for the union. Aminu Ibrahim is the Kaduna State Chairman of the Tricycle Owners Association. We are aware of these boys on the road, especially at Kakuri. But as a union, we are trying to come together and address the issue. Meanwhile, the activities of fraudulent tax agents is becoming alarming in Kaduna, as many business owners narrate their encounter with the suspicious elements. They came the first time and told me to pay, but at the end, they told me they will be collecting stipends, and as such, I may not necessarily need to pay the real amount. I gave them 2,000 as at then. They often come here, but then I realized they were not genuine agents. So I told them to give me an account number I can use to go and pay in the bank, but they gave flimsy excuses.
Somebody came, this is an invoice given to you that, okay, we are coming back on so date. I called one of my friends that is working in the internal revenue of Kaduna, told me that, no, this agency, this receipt is not this agency that is handling tax matters.
While acknowledging the illegal activities of fraudulent tax agents, Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service says it has the exclusive powers to control, administer, impose, and collect taxes and levies in the state as provided by the Tax Codification and Consolidation Law.
Not a few. A lot of them have been arrested and they are with the police. Some have been sent to the court for prosecution. So, and then some of them also are on the run. But this is a cartel. This thing has been ongoing for for a long time, over the years.
The activities of fraudulent tax agents is causing more severe hardship to their victims who are struggling so hard to put food on their table amidst the economic crisis in Nigeria. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
On health matters, the misuse of malaria medicines is driving a surge in recurrent malaria cases, placing Nigeria among the top contributors to global malaria infections and deaths. Experts from the National Malaria Elimination Program stress that the key to reducing this burden lies in enforcing proper case management, ensuring swift, accurate diagnosis and treatment, paired with environmental sanitation measures to prevent the spread. The report.
Malaria continues to be a leading cause of illness and death worldwide, with Nigeria bearing the heaviest burden, accounting for 66.7 million cases in 2022, or 27% of global malaria cases and 31% of death, according to WHO reports. A major challenge in Nigeria's fight against malaria is the widespread misuse of diagnosis and treatment methods, undermining efforts to curb the disease.
It's always important that we test every fever case that comes to the hospital. Okay? It's very, very important we test, just so that we're able to accurately or treat the disease, confirm it, and then treat it appropriately. By doing that, you will save the person the economic implications or the economic burden of the disease. You will prevent the risk of drug resistance, because these organisms too are also trying to survive. So your business is to ensure your drug hits them at once. So, but if they are not, and you keep exposing the organisms to the drugs, they develop tolerance and they just resist.
So for diagnosis, if you're to diagnose malaria, we have two major ways in the country presently. You diagnose either using a rapid diagnostic test kit or you diagnose with microscopy. There's something we call clinical diagnosis. That is based on the signs and symptoms. That is not what effective case management requires.
Experts warn that the proliferation of substandard malaria drugs, improper use of diagnostic tools, and incorrect dosage regimens are fueling the problem. The unchecked availability of non-quality assured treatments is compounding the fight against malaria.
The government is making concerted efforts to check all of those. And for every drug candidate you see that we're using, all of them are what we call the therapeutic efficacy testing. It's just like watching them in celebration. We're checking for allergy, we're checking for their efficacy, okay? If they have adverse effects, they're quickly withdrawn.
So when you're having resistant forms being transmitted, that means a large population of people will be taking medicines that will not be working. And that's going to put us at a very, very dangerous state in country. We do not want that to happen. So it's expected that once you have been tested and you're positive for malaria, you get treated using ACTs. We will continue to hammer it, ACTs, and not monotherapies.
There is a strong emphasis on using artemisinin-based combination therapies for treating malaria. Experts warn that monotherapies are not recommended as they contribute to the development of resistant malaria strains, allowing resistance to further spread. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And moving on to more stories, the streamlined Adamawa's small claims court system, Chief Judge Justice Hafsat Abdurrahman is set to appoint a magistrate to fast-track justice delivery and ease courtroom congestion. She revealed this during the handover of desktop computers and modems from the Adamawa State Action on Business Enabling Reforms aimed at driving economic reforms for the court. GCON Swadigo reports.
Adamawa State Action on Business Enabling Reforms, led by Dr. Bello Abubakar Song, has presented 36 desktop computers and modems to Chief Judge Justice Hafsat Abdurrahman. These resources will support the establishment of 9 small claims courts across the state's senatorial zones. Dr. Song emphasized the role of these courts in the swift resolution of commercial disputes, noting the importance of disbursement link indicators. The courts will provide monthly reports, and the provision of computers aims to enhance their legal efficiency.
We expect to have at least 9 small claim courts with 4 desktop computers allocated to each of the small claim courts. Since we are just starting with the few in each of the senatorial zone, future expansion or establishment of such courts will then require this kind of equipment.
In response, Justice Afsat Abdurrahman expressed gratitude for the support and pledged to utilize the systems to accelerate reforms and ensure swift justice delivery.
And I assure you, by next week, I'm going to make the appointment of the magistrates who are going to mine the small claims court from all the geographical, the central zone, the southern zone, and the northern zone, so that we can go into operation as soon as possible.
Dr. Ahmed Adamu, Special Advisor to the Adamawa State Governor on ICT, e-governance, and policy, stated that the judiciary's electronic reforms align with Governor Ahmed Fintry's developmental policies.
This is going to enhance their operations, particularly of the small claims courts that they are establishing. But then it is also worthy of note that His Excellency Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintry is interested in seeing a modern economy in Adamawa State. He has been reforming virtually all sectors of the economy, transforming them digitally.
Notably, the Adamawa State Action on Business Enabling Reforms recently trained magistrates on the domestication of small claims courts aimed at fostering business-friendly reforms that enhance efficiency and financial stability for business owners. Gibson Suadugu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Traders at the bustling Mile 12 market in Lagos are voicing their concerns over plans by market leaders to demolish their shops and rebuild them for resale at significantly higher prices. Speaking to Trust TV, the traders warn that if the demolition and reconstruction proceed as planned, then small and medium businesses will be priced out of business, leading to a rise in the cost of perishable goods and other food items throughout Lagos. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi reports.
The traders expressed that the decision to demolish the market under the guise of redevelopment is ill-timed, given the current economic challenges facing the country. Aminu Isakiru, a graduate and a trader in perishable goods, revealed that this demolition plan seems aimed at pushing small-scale and medium-sized traders out of the market.
This incoming project with the name remodelization or development of my 12 markets, they came with a means that is not appreciable to we, the market members, especially with the youth, because they said they will remodelize the market, they have to demolish all sections, and apart from that, each member has to pay a sum of 6 million naira to reoccupy his shop, while a sum of 3 million naira to occupy a clamp, while a service fee of 200,000 naira annually, which is not favorable to any Nigerian citizen.
Aminu Kiru also appealed to market leaders and the government to address the pressing issue.
Also, His Excellency Governor of Lagos State, we are calling on our leaders that please, they should leave this project. This is not the right time for the project. They should assume another time. They should reschedule, or they should allow section chairman to initiate this.
Another trader, Muhammad Sani Kangiwa, stated that many of the shops in the market were recently built, but the market management has chosen to demolish them in order to resell at high prices. If you look at the pepper and alobo sections of the market, The shops are all modern and were built not long ago, yet they are all slated for demolition. We are being asked to pay 50,000 naira to purchase a farm and at least 6 million naira for a shop over 25 years with annual payment of 200,000 naira. How can someone dealing in perishable goods survive in this harsh economy? Abubakar Muhammad, another trader, expressed that the project comes at an inopportune time, stating that no reasonable government will initiate a project that exacerbates the suffering of its citizens. This demolition will impact millions, especially the youth who were born and raised here. We know nothing else but this trading. If they take away this opportunity from us, what do they expect us to do? Traders fear that if the project goes ahead, the cost of goods will rise significantly. Abbas Ibrahim Adibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Away from Nigeria, crowds of Tunisians took to the streets once again to voice their discontent with President Kais Saied as the country's October 6th presidential election draws closer. They accuse Saied of limiting the number of opponents who can run against him. Among the crowds were many young people, some of whom are refusing to vote on Sunday. Tunisia's Electoral Commission appointed by Saied has only approved 2 other candidates to run against him. In August, the Human Rights Watch said authorities had ruled out several other potential candidates from running in the election through prosecution and imprisonment. Since he came to power in 2019, Saied has suspended parliament and pushed through a new constitution to reinforce his own power. His administration has clamped down on perceived opponents, arresting lawyers, journalists, and activists. Residents of Rwanda are worried following the spread of the Marburg virus after the health ministry confirmed the country's first outbreak of the Marburg virus on Friday, September 27th, with 8 reported fatalities. The deadly virus, which is capable of a fatality rate of up to 88%, spreads to humans from fruits, bats, and through contact with infected bodily fluids. The ministry had advised the public to avoid close contact with symptomatic individuals, highlighting symptoms such as fever, headaches, muscles ache, vomiting, and diarrhea. In response, the government is ramping up contact tracing, surveillance, and testing, urging citizens to maintain good hygiene practices, including frequent hand washing. Speaking with locals, residents expressed deep concern about the virus. As Rwanda navigates this unprecedented situation, the urgency for awareness and protective measures continues to grow. The health ministry has released the guidelines which stipulate that patients will not receive any visitors in the next 14 days, while they will receive only 1 caregiver at a time.
This virus increases, it will affect we as people, it will kill us the way it did in COVID, and we can even go back to the lockdown.
With more diseases emerging from neighboring countries, we need proactive measures to safeguard public health. The risk of transmission is a daily reality for those of us interacting with tourists.
Within the country, the first case tested was from one of the university teaching hospitals within Kigali. Was a patient followed in emergency care, ICU, which were not responding to other treatments. And many tests were conducted, including these viral diseases. There are many, and this happened to be positive. From there, contacts and tracing other contacts, and that's where also healthcare providers, some of them already developing symptoms.
In sports, Rwanda's capital city, Kigali, is on the verge of making history as the first African country to host the UC Road World Championships. The 2025 UC Road World Championship will take place in Kigali from September 21st to September 28, 2025. The championship, as anticipated, will be historic as Rwanda will become the first African country to host the Road World Championship. About 5,000 cyclists and 2,000 delegates are expected to converge on the city for the event from September 21st to 28. It is predicted that the 2025 championship is going to be one of the hardest editions ever, with 5,475 meters of climbing. And with that, we have come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.